Hey guys, Randy from Gaming Geek here. Today, let's talk about Journey. A few days ago, I made a short form video about the game, but I realized that expressing all my thoughts and feelings in less than a minute didn't leave too much room for nuance, and I think this game really deserves it. I went into Journey pretty much blind. The only things I knew about it was that it was a highly acclaimed game and that it was short. Honestly, the fact that it was short was probably the main reason I really wanted to play it. I've been investing a lot of time into Tears of the Kingdom lately, and I really needed a short, kind of high quality game to be like a sort of palate cleanser for me. So I took a chance on Journey. The game was available on the PlayStation Store as a part of a bundle for $15, so I figured not a big investment, so not much to lose, so I went ahead and just took the gamble. And as you can probably tell, I'm making this video, so I think the gamble really paid off. So what is Journey? Well, it can be kind of hard to describe, but at its core, it's this epic pilgrimage. You start out in the desert, and the game really doesn't tell you what to do, but through some visual cues and stuff, it kind of leads you towards this mountain that's out in the distance, and so you start heading towards that mountain. Now, the reason for the journey to the mountain isn't exactly clear. It's kind of ambiguous, and it's left up to the player. That's just how this game kind of handles its story. The game is really more focused on the actual journey itself, and the details and the specifics of that, it will vary from player to player. But one thing we can talk about that won't vary is the art style. The environments are beautiful, but it's a lonely beauty. It feels really strange at first how alone you are, but that's really important to set the stage for what I feel like is the best and most important part of this game, and that's how the game handles interacting with players who are also playing the game. As I mentioned earlier, I had no idea what to expect from this game, so when I saw a guy out in the distance who looked just like my character, I just assumed it was an NPC, but the way this person was behaving made me stop and think like, wait, could this be another person also playing the game? I was under the impression that this was a single player game. I didn't think it was an online game, but this person definitely didn't act like an NPC. So pretty soon I figured out that this was 100% a real person, and this is a crazy experience. You can't talk to each other. You can press this one button and it kind of makes like a little chime and a symbol, but other than that, you can't speak to each other, but still what's crazy is that we were able to form this unspoken bond. We helped each other out with the game's puzzles, we waited on each other when one of us lagged behind, and we were just there for each other, even though we had no way to communicate. And from what I've seen, this type of experience is not unique to me playing the game. It may sound cheesy when I say this, but this is the type of interaction that genuinely makes you feel better about the world and the way people treat each other. Just for whatever reason, this game kind of brings out the best in people. What's even more incredible is that even after over a decade, people are still playing this game. I played it over 4 separate sessions, but in each time I ran into a different person. Everyone I ran across was a great sport. No one ignored me or left me behind, which is crazy because I've played a lot of games with random people online, and that's not usually the way things go. I'm not sure what it is about Journey that makes people act so kindly towards each other, but maybe it's the music, maybe it's the atmosphere, maybe it's just everything. It all comes together and really hits home. And one of my favorite artistic things they did was the lighting. I really like how they played with some extreme lighting choices in the game. The game definitely comes across as artsy, and while I know not everyone loves that, I think that pretty much anyone can appreciate what Journey is going for because it's so short that it doesn't really overstay its welcome. The focus is really on the experience, while the gameplay takes a backseat. I'm not saying the gameplay is bad because I don't think it is, but it is simple. You can jump and fly around, you can interact with a few certain things, but that's pretty much it. There's some platforming and a few puzzles, but there's just not a whole lot of depth when it comes to the gameplay. But what's here is high quality and feels really good. It's just not very extensive. Again though, the game's really short. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, so it doesn't really need to be packed with a whole lot of gameplay mechanics. The thing that makes Journey such a special game to me is the emotional impact that it's able to deliver in that short time. The game's story seems intentionally vague, so each person who plays it will probably get something different out of it, but I think that's kind of the point. But it touches on themes of life and death and the human condition, existence itself, companionship, solitude, and it makes you think about how you treat the people who are involved in your life's journey. And it does all this without any words, which is just crazy. The game's music, atmosphere, visuals, they all really come together to create this experience that's just kind of more than most of the games that you get to play. It's clear that this game had a really good direction from the outset, and the developer stuck to that vision the entire time and made it a reality. I think it's obvious that this game is special, which is why people are still playing it over a decade later. Most games die out in a year or two, but this one's still going strong. Journey impressed me so much that I'm definitely going to have to try more games from the developer, That Game Company. Like I mentioned earlier, I bought this with a bundle that came with 2 other games, Flow and Flower. And although I haven't heard of these games before, I'm still really excited to try them. And there's also a newer game from this developer called Sky Children of Light, and a lot of commenters told me that I should try that one in the short form video that I made about Journey. But it is kind of a shame that there's only those 4 games from that game company, especially if they're short like Journey is, but obviously I have no clue if they are or not. Luckily, there's another game development studio, Giant Squid, which was apparently formed from ex-staff members of that game company, and apparently their games are also like in the same vein. And they've released 3 games, Abzu, which is a game that I've owned for years but just haven't got around to playing yet. They have a newer game called The Pathless, I think. And then there is a new game that they have, an upcoming game that I saw in the PlayStation Showcase called Song of the Sea. So I'll definitely have to check out their games too, because who knows, I may enjoy them a lot as well. You can probably tell from, this discussion that Journey really left a big impression on me. So if you haven't played the game, I absolutely recommend, giving it a shot. Or maybe one of those other games from, that game company or from Giant Squid. Maybe one of those will catch your eye and you'll give those a try. So from what I've seen from the trailers, each of those games seems to have something unique that it offers. And I'm just really interested to try out some more of these like artsy, emotional kind of interesting games. But also, if you've played Journey or any of these other games, I'd really like to know what your experience was like. Just let me know in the comments, do you enjoy this type of game, or is it just not your cup of tea? And finally, I'd just like to thank you for hanging out with me while I've ranted about Journey. If you like this long form content where I have more time to kind of go deeper into my thoughts about games, or just whatever gaming thing I'm obsessed with at the moment, let me know if you like it, and I'll keep making videos like this alongside the short form content that I usually make. All right, well, I'll let you go. I'm Randy from Gaming Gig, and I'll see you next time.